What's going on, guys? Matt in the hat, Matt Johnson Real Estate, powered by Keller Williams Diamond Partners, and it is Friday. So happy Friday to everybody watching, everybody out there. As you guys know, I come to you Monday through Friday, typically at 12 o'clock, doing it a little early today. I'll explain why. Wait one. And we talk about some property that is on the market, new to the market, just had a price reduction, something unique about the property, and I answer your questions. Question of the day actually is submitted by a viewer, a friend. So, Josh, thank you for submitting the question of the day. Happy to answer it. Hopefully, I answer it to your satisfaction. If not, well, you know, it is what it is. But you guys know I come to you. I'm here to help educate you, showcase some properties, and do what others won't do. And that is part of the reason that I am the unrivaled realtor in this area, because I do what others won't and just don't want to do. And that's what I do. You guys know that coming to this week has been an exciting week for me for a couple reasons. First off, my hot list video is now available in iTunes for download and listen. Click on that link below and it will take you to iTunes, and you can subscribe to it, leave a review, 5-star preferred. As you guys know, you listen to it, you think it sucks, you hate it, leave me whatever star review you want. I'm open to your feedback, your criticism. I want to hear from you guys. So make sure you click that link, follow it, and go to iTunes, subscribe, leave a review. Also, as you guys will see, those of you who've been following for a while, I have a new podcast thumbnail, podcast icon, thanks to Josh Young. He did an absolutely phenomenal job, as he did with my logo as well. So he's the one that has done my logo, that is near and dear to my heart. Absolutely love. And he did my podcast thumbnail and podcast cover update. I think his words were, my old one was boring and lame. I'm like 20% sure those are his exact words. And he was the second or third person that had told me that in about a 6-day period. So it was that time. So the house we're talking about today, we're going to go ahead and jump into it, get into it, is an absolutely beautiful house just a few miles south of Emporia. So let me turn this around so y'all can see what we're going to look at today. All right, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. All right, so I chose this picture to start with so you guys can kind of just take a look and see what the layout is. So this particular house is country living with an in-town feeling. So as you can see, the house sits right here. It does have an attached 2-car garage. Right behind it, you're going to see a detached garage. You've got a storage shed that you can probably use left hand. There we go. That you can see. You've got another shop and a detached garage back in the back. Now, the detached garage has a place for a shop. The shop obviously has room for a shop as well. So that's why I wanted to start with this one, so you can see the layout and how it all looks on the land. So this is ranch style house. You guys know I'm a sucker for those. It is a 3-bed, 2-bath, again, 2-car attached garage. Got a nice little covered porch. And then the immediate back part of it, what I love about it, it does have a fenced-in yard. So you got a privacy fence around there. So if you just want to sit on your concrete patio here and just enjoy nature in privacy, you absolutely have that option. And here's a picture of the garage. There's a lot of pictures to get through. If you guys want to see these a little bit in more detail, just click on the link that's in the video, because I really want to showcase some of the property here. So here is the detached garage. You got your tool shed there. There's your shop. And then the other detached garage. Let me flip this around. All right. So this one, again, is a 3-bed, 2-bath, 2,156 square feet, sits on 6 acres. You saw the outbuildings. You saw the privacy fence. This is close to the schools that are in Olpe, walking, riding distance, very convenient, very nice, very handy. Those of you that are familiar with Olpe, absolutely beautiful town. Currently just had a price reduction. So this house is now down to $225,000. Listing is courtesy of Tri-County Real Estate. And they did all the pictures that you guys saw, but it's absolutely beautiful house, ranch style, so everything's going to be on one level. It does have a basement. Wasn't any pictures in the basement. So if you guys have questions, just click on the link and that will take you to my website so you can see the pictures in more detail. I knew I kind of went through those pretty quickly, but there's a lot of them and wanted to get through some of them. Question of the day. Again, Josh, thank you for question of the day. How do I find out how much my house is worth? Man, this is a slippery slope. So I'm going to do the best I can to not incriminate myself and answer question in full detail. We'll give you some fine print, full disclosure along the way as well. So how do I find out how much my house is worth? Do I use Zillow? Do I use Trulia? Do I use Realtor.com? Do I use an agent? What about the county website and the tax site? What affects the value of my house? Well, all this goes into play. So let me start with saying there are different definitions when you're talking about how much my house is worth. I don't like telling people your house is worth this or your house appraises for this. That is not what I do. First and foremost, what I do is I do research on your house, give you a probable selling price for that house. I don't give you an appraised value. I'm not an appraiser. And there are different factors that play into this. So what determines the sales price of a house is ultimately the market value. So the market value is the price which a house will sell within a reasonable amount of time. What does that mean? That means this is the price that a buyer is willing to pay for a home and the seller is willing to accept. Plain and simple, that's what the market value, market price definition is. Now, there is also an appraised value. This is an estimate of what is considered to be the true market value in the eyes of an appraiser and a lender. When a house is being bought or sold, an appraiser is hired by a lender, if there's a loan on it, to do an assessment of the house. So this is in their opinion, this is a market value of the property, so lenders can make an informed decision regarding the loan status. They will typically do this by using sales of comparable homes and do a physical inspection of the home. Then you have assessed value, which is what you're going to see as far as tax value and tax records. This is typically determined each year by a tax assessor. It's not required that when they do this, it's not required of them to adjust the assessed value to reflect the market value. So keep that in mind. Typically, this is the least reliable indicator of a market value, and I'm going to get into a little bit more of the appraised value in just a couple minutes. So what factors go into play in determining a market value? Real estate agents, whether it's on the buying side or selling side, both sides will do this. They will look on the outside of the house. They will look at curb appeal, exterior condition of the house, lot size, style of the house. Then when they go to walk through the house, they're going to look at the size of the rooms, the number of the rooms, type of construction. If it's a metal building, manufactured home, stick built. Then they're going to look at the quality and condition of any appliances that are included in the house, the heating system, the cooling system, and overall energy efficiency. Now, once all of this is done, what the agents will do is look up comparable homes that have been sold within the last 6 months. And sometimes you'll have people that'll go out a certain distance, some won't go any farther. It just varies on the number of homes that are available and similar enough that you could compare this house to. The other factor that goes into this, I'm sure you guys, I'm not telling you anything you don't know on this one, supply and demand. So the number of buyers and the number of sellers that are in an area can fluctuate the market as well. And then, of course, the location. You hear all the time, you've heard for years, the three most important things in real estate are location, location, location. Well, that all is factored into the market value of a home. Next is the assessed value. How is that determined? Like I kind of mentioned and got into this already, the assessed value is typically done by municipalities, like mostly the counties, so they are able to levy property taxes wherever you live. You may or may not have those, so adjust accordingly. They look at similar properties sold typically within the last 6 months as well. Any value of recent improvements or updates on a house, income received from the property if it is a rental. So if that's not applicable, disregard. And then the overall cost of the property, if it would be hit by a natural disaster, God forbid a fire. And then finally is the appraised value, which is determined by an appraiser that is hired out by a lender. Now, can you, the homeowner, do this your own? Absolutely can. Typically, around this area, you'll see them range anywhere from $200 to $600 and have the appraiser come out. They'll do this if you're buying, selling, refinancing, or like I said, you can do this on the front end if you are absolutely curious and want to know what your house appraises for. Now, after having said all of that, how do you determine how much your house is worth? Well, it's kind of a sliding scale. And like I said, I was going to do my best to not incriminate myself during this. Because it's a sliding scale, it's going to depend on when you're trying to sell your house. Again, the condition of your house, any updates that you've done that you've done to it. Now, if you spend $10,000 making a just absolute kick-ass double tier deck on the back of your house, is that going to raise your house by $10,000? Not necessarily. So just keep that in mind. The best way that I explain this to people when they call me, when they ask me this question, I give you a probable sales price. I don't guarantee this is what you can sell your house for. I don't say this is what the county says it's going to be worth. This is what you can sell it for. Don't take any less. I give you a probable sales price because, like I mentioned before, the market, I interpret the market at the time. So whatever a buyer is willing to pay for a house, a seller is willing to accept, that's going to be what your house is ultimately worth. I know that seems kind of confusing, and I've kind of danced around the question. If you have any more questions, please feel free to call me, reach out to me. If you're curious, hey, what could I sell my house for? Give me a call. Phone number is in the comments. I'm happy to do a free comparable analysis on your house. Again, it will be a probable sales price. I don't know that I can say that enough. It is not going to be an assessed value, market value, appraised, probable sales price. I just want to be clear with that. However, I will say that the last few houses where I have done a probable sales price, so that in Emporia, I believe the listing to sale ratio last time I checked is 92%. My listing to sales ratio is 98%. Pretty impressive, right? So just keep that in mind as well. And so when you're looking for an agent, ask them if they know what their list to sell price ratio is. Mine's 98%. I would say that's pretty good. But I got to jump off here. I think I've spent enough time dancing around the question and skirting the question a little bit. So if you guys have any questions, please drop your comments here. Shoot me a text. Call me 620-794-1032. Thank you for tuning in today for the hot list. And also, drop a comment in here. Thank Josh for the question of the day, as well as my updated hot list logo and thumbnail. It looks absolutely amazing. A lot less boring and lame. His words, not mine. So, Josh, thank you once again. And I hope you guys enjoy the weekend. Thanks for tuning in the Hot List with Matt in the Hat. Matt Johnson Real Estate, powered by Keller Williams Diamond Partners. I do this because your experience matters and should be trusted with a veteran. I'll see y'all back on Monday.